What is up, everyone? Welcome back to Base Damage. Bringing to you today a Sinon Waifu deck that I've been working on for a minute. I honestly debated whether I even wanted to post this or not. Nothing in here is really, game breaking or, really crazy. But I've been working this on the side for a while, and it isn't solely Sinon cards because there are like Sinon cards in the Alicization set. But you can't really use those in here because of the Fluct Light trait. So, let's just get right into the deck profile. No dilly-dallying. Just love me some Sinon. I've really enjoyed stuff like Last Shot Sinon until, ever since the beginning days of Gun Gale. A Last Shot Sinon deck was literally the first deck that I ever had in Weiss Schwarz, thanks to my buddy Robbie. So it's just kind of been building upon that from ever since back then, and just kind of wanted to make this deck profile and showcase it. So let's start with the level 3s. We only have 2 level 3s in this deck. It is, first copy is Link Strike Sinon, 329k, 4 copies of this. If the number of Avatar net characters you have is 4 or more, this gets minus a level in hand. This is insanely easy to play. Early play, that is. When this card is placed on stage from your hand, you get to draw up to 1 card, and this card gets an additional 2k power until the end of turn, making her an 11k, which is really good for the last ability. Up to 1 time per turn, when the character in the middle position of your center stage attacks, you can pay 1 and pitch 2 cards. Put the top 3 cards of your deck into your waiting room. If there's a climax amongst those cards, you can stand this card. Not saying that it happens a whole bunch, but it is really good, and has happened a lot for me personally. Definitely really good there. And obviously the main draw of the deck is Last Shot Sinon. It's a 3/2 10k. On play, or by the if you're summoned by the effect of a change card, which we do have in here, you can heal 1, and when this card attacks, if a card named Phantom Bullet, which is a draw trigger, you can is in your climax area, you can pay 2, pitch 1, deal 4 damage to your opponent, and if this damage is cancelled, this gets an extra 3,500 power until the end of your opponent's next turn. Not many people remember that this damage buff is here. It's just something that doesn't happen a whole bunch. But it's a desperation attack, basically, because she can push for a full 7 damage with this in her climax. So if the 4 doesn't stick, you can just, okay, just extra buff. You're probably not killing her. Now, that being said, when this card does become reversed in battle, she goes to memory automatically. So no really saving her for multiple turns. But, once again, one of the first major climax combos I ever worked with, and it's near and dear to my heart because of that. Next, we have 2, that's it for the level 3s. We're going to get to the level 2s. We have 2 copies of Adventure with Everyone Sinon. This is insanely useful. She is a climax swapper. So, on play, pay 1, pitch a climax to salvage back 1 from the waiting room. This is insanely invaluable, especially at level 3 if you have copies of the other climax sitting in hand and you need to get the Phantom Bullet. She is your girl for that. When this attacks, if the character facing this card is level 3 or higher, so if your opponent early plays stuff, or just at level 3 in general, she gets an extra 1,000 power times the number of Avatar net characters you have. That counts herself, so a full field is plus 5,000 for her. If you're able to play the climax, she can get up to upwards of 13,500 before anything else. And you definitely have other cards to buff in this deck. You have this Strong Existence Sinon, which is a 2/1. It's a global 1,000 to Avatar net. Just really powerful, and just something that your opponent's like, oh, gotcha, you're strong. I do have other cards that buff on the opponent's turn. So one of the other major things for this is a change effect. At the beginning of your climax phase, you can pay 2 and put a card from your hand into your waiting room, and put this card into your waiting room. If you do, choose a Last Shot Sinon in your waiting room and put it on the stage position that this was on. So being able to change into the Sinon at level 2 and just be able to go ahead and get Last Shot off a couple times, maybe some extra times before level 3, really good, and you get the heal. So just a neat little extra addition, both defensively and being able to early play. Then we have 1 copy of Machine of Ice Sinon. This is stupidly powerful. It's a 2/1 3k. All of your characters in front of this gain an extra 1,000 power. But the main thing this card is run for is the act ability. You tap itself, choose one of your opponent's characters. That character gets the following ability until end of turn. During this card's battle, you cannot play event cards and backup from your hand, making it so your opponent can't use money counters, tap counters, backups in general. being able to make, like, especially because you do have to swing with other characters to build up the Sinon for her, because she does have to pay 2 stock. You can give this to one of your opponent's characters, swing with, like, you know, say this or something else that's really big, build up that stock, and your opponent can't go ahead and anti-change or whatever the last shot Sinon off the field before she has a chance to get off her climax combo. So really powerful, and just in general, being able to use on like the last shot Sinon as well is just really powerful, so your opponent just can't do anything. Or I say on the battle opponent, so the Sinon can go through. So. But yeah, and then to round out the level 2s, we have this Sinon backup is a 2500 cool Confutation. I hope that's how it's pronounced. It's also a really weird image glitch here. It looks like Kirito's hair. I don't know. It's Kirito in a Sinon disguise. 2500 backup. When you use this card's backup, if you have an avatar net character, choose one of your characters in battle and it gains 1000 power till end of turn. So making it a 2/135 backup. Just neat little extra thing. Not that I don't run enough backups here, as we see when we get into the level 1s, of this Vice Commander Asuna. It's a free 2k backup. You can't say no to this. This is also just really strong because of the level 1 climax combo and how defensive it gets. But continuing on with that, we have 104k Temporary Alliance Sinon. This has been around for a hot minute. It gets 500 power for each of your other avatar net characters, and it has Clock Encore. So it becomes a 106k that your opponent has to deal with, and if they do somehow deal with it, Clock Encore. Have fun. The level 1 climax combo is this 104k Reliable Reinforcement Sinon. She also gets 500 power for each of your other avatar net characters, making her a 106k offensively and defensively before you even put the climax into play. When this card attacks, if Dependable Marksmanship, which is the pants trigger, is in your climax area, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's an avatar net, put it into your hand. You don't get to choose what you get to grab with this, but the entire deck is avatar net. There's no events in here, and I run a lot of 4-ofs. 4 of Link Strike, 4 of Last Shot, 4 of this, 4 of Temporary Alliance. And even some of the other big cards in here, like there's multiple backups, there's multiple assist cards. There's the next level 1 that we're going to talk about is another major assist card for helping you get your climax combo off or just other things in general. So there's a lot of really good consistency in this deck. Typically, if you just throw down 3 of these and drop the climax combo and go to town, you're going to get the cards you want and or other cards that just help facilitate what you're going for. Because I'm running mostly play sets of a lot of the key cards, it really doesn't matter in the long run, and you're able to just, even the other extra cards you can expend for drop searchers, brainstormer effects, etc. So this is just a really good level 1. I feel this kind of setup is underrated and not utilized as much, but I actually really like this because, once again, defensively, say if we take this next card into account, is this 1/0 1500 power SAO Survivor, Asuna, and Kazuta. During your opponent's turn, all of your other avatar net characters gain 1000 power. So with her being a 6k on a full field, this makes her a 7k defensively, even before, say, this level 0 Sinon, they get some more buff. But the second effect is really where this card shines. When this is placed on stage from hand, look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck, choose up to 1 card amongst them, put into your hand, and then discard 1 card. This lets you grab your climaxes. So if you don't have it just yet, you can potentially dig deeper and grab it, whether that be for the level 1 combo or even Last Shot Sinon herself. Being able to dig and grab the climaxes is insanely useful. You're going to have plenty of other cards that you can just discard for fodder. It doesn't really matter. And then just be able to go to town with, your climax combos and plus even more. But yeah, also just really powerful defensively. So, extra 1000 from this, extra 1000 from Strong Existence. These can get very, like both of these, because they share the same abilities and stat lineup, can get very big and hard to remove for your opponent, especially when you are sitting with backups and everything in hand. I wanted to run 3 copies of this, to be honest, but I also wanted to include this backup. So then that rounds out the level 1s. We're going to get to the level 0s. 1 copy of this Suguha 003k Kendo Boot Camp. All of your other characters get the negative of this card cannot side attack. That's whatever. You only run 1 of this. It's a pay 1, pitch 1 on play drop searcher. But typically you're just, this is just a little bit of an extra thing to try to grab your level 1 combo. 3 copies of Mission in the Twilight Sinon is a 005k. It is a 500 assist in front, and when a climax is placed on your climax area, choose one of your characters, it gets 1000 power till end of turn. I will say this is a promo, but if I'm not mistaken, I think it got a reprint in, I was about to say ordinal scale, and I know that's not correct. Re-edit? I think Re-edit reprinted this. I could be incorrect on that. I think there's 2 versions of this card floating around. So it should, even though it's an older promo, it shouldn't be hard to pick up. Don't hold me to that. I apologize if that's wrong. Next, we have 4 copies of Temporary Alliance Kirito. It's a 002K. When this attacks, if you choose one of your other characters with Sinon in its card name, and that character gains 1,000 power till end of turn. It can come up with your level 1 on occasion, but not typically. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you can build the top card of your deck. If it's an avatar or net, move this to an open position of your center stage. Mill runners, we love them, y'all hate them, whatever. 4 copies of In Doubt Sinon. I need another good level 0 to be able to drop first turn. The 002K, if the number of cards in your stock is 2 or less, this gains 1,500 power, making her a 35. She has character encore, but you're typically not wanting to character encore at level 0, but she's got a big enough booty, it doesn't matter. Booty. Anyway. 2 copies of In the Sunlight Forest Sinon. This is a spammable brainstormer. During your opponent's turn, your other character in the middle position of the center stage gets 1,000 power. The spammable brainstorm is pay 1, mill 4. So if you mill, depending on how many climaxes get revealed, you search for that many, and then you discard that many. So good bit of hand filtering, especially with book and pants triggers. So, and lastly, to round out the level 0s and brainstormers, we have After the Battle Kirito. When you use an act, you can give a character 500 power 1 time per turn. And pay 1, tap 2 of your characters, reveal 4. For each of the climaxes, perform the following action. Draw 2, pitch 1 card. So, really good there, and that rounds out to the rest of the deck with the climaxes. I don't think this is going to... Oh, it actually does kind of come up. So 1k1 Phantom Bullet is a book trigger for drawing, and Dependable Marksmanship is a 1k1 pants trigger for grabbing back your climaxes. Sometimes even triggering this, grabbing another copy of it, and just reusing it multiple turns in a row with the level 1 climax combo Sinon. And that's going to be it for the deck. This is just a typical waifu deck. It's just really fun, and I just wanted to kind of post it for the heck of it. It's just been something I've been working on the side. I cannot recommend it as a budget deck in any shape, form, or fashion, specifically because of the level 3 lineup. The rest of the deck is honestly not bad. If you're somehow tempted to build the rest of this deck and maybe do a different level 3 finisher, or even like this as kind of a core setup for the climax combo and stuff, a lot of this is very cheap. The only things I really can't recommend, you can replace like the Link Strike Sinon. There are several copies of Last Shot Sinon floating around, like reprints and such, so you probably can find something that's a little bit cheaper of a price tag, but I can't really recommend the Link Strike Sinon because it's like it's sitting around like $15 a piece or so by the time I'm recording this. But that's whatever, to each their own. But with that, thank you all for watching. Please like and subscribe. Remember, we have a Discord channel if you want to join. There'll be a link in the description. And that'll do for now. Peace out.